Brace the rudder! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. I've got Thad Bell and Kerry Robinson here with me on a Sunday night after Sporting Kansas City were shellacked by LA. And the Current got another win. I do want to talk about that. We're going to get to that in the second segment. We've got a couple Sporting Kansas City discussions to get to, but let's just start off with the 4-1 win. Let's just get it out of the way, right? That's my general thought here, Kerry, is to just get the 4-1 loss out of the way. And Thad, I know you were saying it was a bad weekend for LA against Missouri, because I think, I think St. Louis also had one.
You said 4-1 win out of the way, so.
Oh,
well, it was a 4-1 win, just the wrong guys.
Just for the other guys. I'm just forever an optimist, is where that comes from. But thank you, thank you for that.
We still won despite it being a loss.
Yeah, so Kerry, I wanted to talk with you about how it doesn't feel like that horrible of a season. So we're gonna get to that. You and I just seem to be optimists, seem to have good vibes about this, in spite of the results. As we maybe are going to go for the wooden spoon here. We got another step closer to that. But Thad, this 4-1 loss against the LA Galaxy, I almost turned the game off after it was, I guess it was at the third goal right before Decky got his first. I almost turned it off, and then I felt rewarded that we got one, and I was like, all right, I'll keep watching.
He got one in the 28th minute, and Paintsel got his second in the 25th minute. So It was 2-1 at one point. Right. It was There was potential.
But the ease in which all of these goals went in the net, that's what almost made me turn it off. And yeah, Paintsel, man, we've talked a lot about him on this show. He's such an exciting player to watch, but just running rampant on the Sporting Kansas City defense and midfield.
During the last Current episode, I looked at my horoscope basically on CoStar, and I said there was going to be a hat trick. Well, I will make my case for that in the Current episode later. I guess I just predicted something.
You painted the wrong picture.
Oh no. Damn it, Thad. And he almost had 4.
He should have had 5.
Yeah, he could have 5.
That was crazy. So I don't know. Is that we had some new guys on the back line, Thad? Is that where you're looking at on the problems with this game?
No.
No?
Part of it, yes, but no. I mean, nobody nobody in the midfield and defense really painted themselves a good light. Shelton, who we've often defended as better than most people give him credit for, and obviously the best right back that we had at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
he was not good. Um, I don't think Ndembe was good.
No.
And guys were running through the midfield without people tracking them well enough. So Basong, who we've praised a lot of times, also wasn't tracking people as well as he should have. I mean, and I don't want to just single out like three people. It was like six people who all could have done better, quite honestly. I don't blame Pulskamp in any way, shape, or form, but
Yeah, I know. Even if you want to blame Ian James, there were actually a couple plays that I thought he did quite well that
yeah.
maybe Paintsel should have scored, and then somehow Paintsel did just enough to, or Ian James did just enough to break that up. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm kind of with you on just an entire team collapse there because we can't chalk it up to, well, great opponent, Paintsel. How good is that guy? Because he hasn't been doing it all year. Kerry, they've been bad all year. It's the only team that was below us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they still are below us, but
They still are. God.
thank God we only have a few more games left this season, or
two.
else, yeah. Well, they have a few as well, but they have a game in hand. They could easily still jump us. Let me just say, let's get that out of the way. They can still jump us, but thank God we're not like, midway through the season and there is a 3-point gap between us and LA Galaxy to where they could just jump us and keep making that those points difference.
Yeah, it got one step closer to the spoon. I know St. Louis also lost, like we were saying, Missouri got shellacked by LA this weekend.
Yeah.
So that I guess kind of helped with that. We're one step closer. It's getting to be a reality here.
It is much closer because I mean, we were always hopeful like, okay, LA will just stay bad long enough that we don't have to really stress it too much. Now we're kind of like looking at the Eastern Conference. Can you guys keep dropping points too? And but yeah, St. Louis got beat by LAFC 3-0. Song finally did not score a hat trick in a game.
Yeah.
Not Song finally didn't score a hat trick.
Yeah, I don't hate seeing him be successful. Everyone kind of likes Son, don't we?
I don't hate him.
We haven't played against him yet, so I can't hate him.
Yeah, no true reason to hate him yet. Okay, so we kind of talked about the spoon there a little bit. That is becoming a reality. Let's talk about the game a little bit. Alan Montez, Thad, was out on the field. He was the other center back that was out there. Obviously not a good game. 4 goals conceded. What are you thinking about Alan Montez? We've only got 2 more games to make a decision here.
I really didn't think he played all that bad. It sounds terrible to say, oh, he lost 4-1 and the defense didn't play that bad. I just said earlier that everybody played bad. I didn't think Montez was as bad as I kind of expected he would be, quite honestly. He did some good plays. He did some good interceptions. He was in the right place sometimes. And playing with, a 17-year-old next to him.
Yeah, maybe that didn't help.
That didn't help. And Denbei didn't help. Basong didn't help. Shelton didn't help. I think he was one of the brighter spots back there. Again, James actually played pretty decent game too, as well, for all things considered. It just was everything was so bad that it's hard to like say anybody was good, but yeah.
I don't know what it would take to keep Montez here, but I haven't necessarily seen something that makes me think he's going to be significantly better than X defender that we get from anywhere else in the world.
Well, we know he's tall. We know he can do some headers and all that stuff. So I just say it comes down to the money. We don't really know what it would cost to keep him, to buy him, and what it would keep to keep Bulliter or bring in other, defenders. Like we know, Rosero's gone already. I can't imagine keeping Fernandez. When the game was going on, when I saw the lineup last night, because Afrifa was in, you had Ian James and Montez there, and just some of the other stuff. I kind of typed my own note. I typed a note to myself saying, I think this might be the new CSO asking for players to be played so he can see them out there. Because we haven't seen a free for forever, right?
So
I mean,
you
it's
think
been a
they've
year
got-
since he started.
You think they've got a front runner in discussions for this job, and he's saying, "Let me get a look at some of these guys. I need to, if I'm going to get this job, I need to get to work already."
I do. I mean, I've said for a while now, I think they have the person identified and they're just trying to work out some deals or whatever. Or perhaps he's one of a couple of them from Europe. Maybe they need to get a visa approved before they bring him in officially to introduce. I don't know. I'm just saying this kind of felt like almost like a CSO, like, let me take a look at these guys, not your necessarily best lineup to get a result. But maybe it was.
Isn't that also just what a lot of fans of Sporting Kansas City have been saying as well? The season is at a loss. Let's get a look at some of these guys. Why haven't we been playing these two at center back every game?
I mean, I think that was the original thought looking at the lineup because you look at it, you're like, what the hell is KZ doing?
Yeah.
Bringing in a free foot to start and Memo. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Memo's not going to be your number one to start ever. Any team. Sorry.
Memo is an odd one because even if on that logic of, well, let's kick the tires on Steven Afrifa here, see if he can do something to impress us. But Memo, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, but then again, who else were they going to play? I mean, Jake Davis, but you needed him as a backup right back. I don't know. There could be a really perfectly logical reason that KZ had for putting that lineup out there. It still kind of felt like, let's see let the new guy see what they can do in a recent game against a really bad team in LA who's playing pretty good actually. But
we are going to talk about KZ and the CSO maybe a little bit here later. But Thad, you mentioned Zoran Basong a little bit ago. He had some ugly moments, including like play and then a little extracurricular activities as well there at the end. A little bit of brouhaha broke out.
Yeah, the villains came to villain, man.
Yeah, both of them, Shoppy and Zoran Basong were in the mix. Shoppy did not want to leave the field. He took as long as he possibly could to get out of there.
Cody, we've been waiting for this all year long. And the hype was nothing because it wasn't even it shouldn't have been a red. Should have been a yellow. He was just late to the challenge. We've seen all weekend long, as even Thad pointed out in our Slack, that Klaus had such a terrible challenge and only resulted in a yellow that was far worse than what Shoppy did. I think it's the fact that maybe he just laid on the guy afterwards.
A little bit.
Maybe would have been that orange card. But
maybe left it there a little bit longer, went through it longer than he needed to. But yeah, it wasn't. That's not a red card challenge. Come on.
He just wanted to show the Chiefs that if needed, he is available.
Yeah, he could do open field tackling, man. Better than some teams have done.
Yeah, I mean, he really did go through him there, but I can understand him being upset. And then actually, I think that the broadcast was annoyed, like obsessively watching him walk the entire 75 yards over to the sideline, then around the field. I think they were trying to make this like, look at this guy, like he won't get off the field, but it only got confirmed. He was waiting in the tunnel even for a second. It took him all that time. He's turning around, looking and like yapping at some people, but honestly, they were kind of waiting for that to be confirmed the whole time. I don't think Shoppy took too long or anything like that. It only got confirmed after review when he was finally in the tunnel.
Yeah, he was just waiting for it to be VAR'd because I mean, even the announcers are like, yeah, that's not a red. That's not a red. It should be.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just close enough that nobody wanted to overturn it, or they still have hatred for SKC.
Yeah, Kerry, we've been waiting for it. And if that's as fiery as it gets for him, then like he got a handle on any of the issues from before he came here. Because I honestly, I was a little bit clinching the whole time. Like once he really got by those fans and there's some people standing up, I was like, oh my God, Shoppy, be careful here, buddy.
I like to paint this picture in my mind that because he was sent to Kansas from Greece, that he's under some contract that's like that Comets player who had to do therapy like once a week, had to go to a life coach. I'd like to think that there's something there.
Yeah.
Just paint that in my mind. But I think it was funny how I mean, we all know that he has his like own bodyguard in case something happens. But the first person that you saw walking out and getting him out of there was Kitman himself, not even the bodyguard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Kitman might be the bodyguard. Doesn't he do like Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
That
I have no
only,
clue.
literally only you would know that.
I've
Well,
been in the
his
Kitman room
daughter
once.
does. Oh, yeah. No, Kitman, man, he used to do I think he used to do a lot of martial arts, but I know his daughter does, is like winning a lot of tournaments with Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff. I mean, she's a
Wow,
little badass.
more people need to know that our kit man is quite capable, and should an entire battle royale break out one of these days.
I think it would take a while for him to like really okay, I got to do this. But once he waded in there, man, he'd be tossing some people to the side.
Sammy would have to get him going.
So
Surprised he hasn't tossed Sammy.
The initial thing that broke out the brouhaha was definitely the Big Bear just shoving that guy into Zoran Basong, right? I think that's what started all of it. I think Basong got really mad at that guy, and the Galaxy guy got a yellow card for it. But I'm pretty sure the most of what just happened was that Big Bear just shoved him into our other player, and then a little bit of shoving broke out after that. So that was well done. Interesting play to watch. You love a good brouhaha.
I miss the days of Roger and Benny trying to fight someone.
And Johnny.
But mostly Roger, since he is the one that's thrown a punch in an actual game.
Thad, go back further in time. Who else we got on that list? We had Kerry gave us some more recent names. Who else beyond those guys were the enforcers for Sporting and the Wizards?
Oh man, back in the old days, Matt McKeon, Sean Bowers as like defenders.
Sean Bowers, I remember that one.
I know I've probably told story before about Ron Newman, the coach, man, back in the days, taunting the guy to try to get him to fight, calling him all kinds of inappropriate words, but just trying to dare him to fight to, basically stall the game out. But there's a fair amount of, Mo Johnson, of course, but.
Okay. All right, Kerry, let's get to the current. We got a couple more things here to talk about with Sporting KC. We'll save that for segment 3, and we're going to talk about the current in segment 2, and we will be right back. All right, the Kansas City Current 4-1 over the Chicago not Red Stars. Another good performance. Temwa keeps her lead on the Golden Boot list. Kerry, what do you think of the Current after this weekend?
I think that them giving up the goal in their span of like 9.5 games of being not getting scored on is very good for them. I think that, there's a lot of tension that brings with that, a lot of, they just have a lot of weight on their shoulders trying to keep that standard. And so them kind of getting scored on breaks that, especially right before playoffs. Just to kind of reset themselves. Although Thad did say in our Slack that they are bad now because they got scored on.
No, he said they suck, actually, is what he said.
I'm just talking shit, man. Come on. They suck now. They gave up a goal, I expected everybody to like pile on, like, what's wrong with them? Like when they go a game without scoring, what's wrong with them now? Can they never score again?
Well, I won't lie. As much as I've followed the team this year, I haven't just looked at the stat line in particular. And when that announcer said that they have not conceded one single goal before the 30th minute all season long, there are 4 games left and they haven't conceded a goal in the first 30 minutes. And then that also sparked me to look at the rest of the stat line. They had conceded 10 goals at that point, 11 goals. There have been 11 goals through the entire season. That is an absurd thing.
How many have we scored, Cody? Do you know?
Oh, it was man, that was way up there. Is it in the 40s?
It is.
Yeah. So we scored 4 that game. I'm gonna say like 45.
44.
Oh, that's close.
So we've scored 4 times more than we've let in.
Yep.
That's just insane, man.
So last game was really just a microcosm of the whole season. 4-1.
Oh, there you go. Good job, Thad. Good job. And they also said the record for goals conceded in the season was 17. They're on pace for that, right?
Yeah. Well, they're on pace to beat that. Yeah. See, math does matter.
Math is important. And math is cool, Thad. I'll support you in that. Thad was being a nerd in our Slack, and what was it? It was like Pi Day, or not Pi Day.
Pythagoras Day. The perfect Pythagoras Day.
Yes, that was 816. That's right. or no, is that what it was? What was it?
9, 16, 25.
9, 16, 25.
3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared. Pythagorean theorem, right triangle.
And people were making fun of him in our Slack. He was nerding out. It was good. Math is important. Math and science are important. We need to make sure everyone knows that in this current day and age that we live.
Plus, I like to just go in there and like post stuff and stir stuff up. But I mean, it was we tweeted this to each other. I mean, my family about perfect Pythagorean day.
All right, so the Kansas City Current. Who has an interesting thing to say about the Current right now besides, look how awesome this team is? We're just waiting for the playoffs. They've still got work to do. Give me an interesting way to talk about this game tonight, this weekend.
Chicago is on a hot run at the moment. And we came out with arguably a B/C lineup.
Yeah.
The front three was the strong lineup.
Yes. And
after that, though.
And the substitutions were a little,
But yeah, because I mean, they got Pfeiffer in, who drew the penalty so that Lowe could score. Mary Long got her first assist, and her parents were not there to see it. They were somewhere in England, probably buying another team or something. I'm not trying to start a rumor there.
You just did.
No, you should start rumors. More rumors. We need more rumors in the NWSL community, whether or not they're true.
Gallivanting around Europe searching for a new investment, Thad says.
Well, I don't know actually why they were officially there, but they rang the stock exchange bell over there or something.
Oh God, really? That's cool. Good for them.
They did something else, and I'm sure they were watching their daughter when she subbed in and all that stuff. They're watching their team. Somebody else went into the club and did the champagne saber thing.
Really surprised to hear Europe does the ringing of the bell at the stock exchange. That sounds like just such an absurd American business, ridiculous thing. I'm surprised to hear England even does that.
Maybe they just did it for them. I really don't know the customs on that stuff. But you do have to remember, we got a lot of shit from England. So, there's a lot of that stuff. But Katie Scott played really pretty well, most of it. When she played in the Summer Cup stuff, the Teal Rising Cup, I thought she played really well, but her passing was not her best strength. And I think that was reinforced a little bit this time. It was better because she was better rested. Because the only time I saw her in person during the Teal Rising Cup was the second game that they played like 2 days later. So she had played a lot of minutes and wasn't used to it. But I think she was better. But I think that's still something that she's not as good at as Mace or Izzy. So she played a half and went out. But I thought she did really well. What about you, Gary?
Yeah, I thought she came out guns a-blazing. She was fast. She was able to pick out pockets where Chicago was not, and move the ball up more that way. She definitely looked like a 18-year-old in her speed.
Yeah.
Not as fast as Temwa, of course, but definitely up there.
But shorter legs too.
Shorter legs.
Yeah. So maybe that's why. If she had longer legs, maybe she'd be fast. Fast. Vlaco, actually, I asked him about it. Vlaco said that he tasked her with some tough challenges to get up and go forward on some stuff, but then she was supposed to cover and get back. So she had to be alert, she had to be fast, and she had to put out a ton of effort to do that, and she did all that really well.
Couple of really nice goals. Bia had a really good one. I loved the Temwa Chawinga goal. It was reminiscent of one of my favorite players of all time, Sergio Aguero. That just dip the shoulder one step further outside, dip the shoulder one step further outside. And just when you think it's at too tight of an angle, she slipped that in right at the near post. I love that kind of goal. It's just a striker's goal that just, I'm going to get open. You're not going to deny me. And yeah, I love seeing it. And she's at the top of the Golden Boot still.
Both Bia and Temwa's goal, I did not think was going in.
Yeah.
Like we were surprised. Like my dad and I just looked at each other afterwards and we're like, that went in. Like that's insane.
Yeah, Bia's was really well taken. That was a fun goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her long legs for that one worked in her favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She can shoot it like at a 90-degree angle to the side, which is kind of crazy. She's like running parallel to the goal line and just shoots at 90 degrees and through traffic, and the goalie like doesn't even know it's coming, which is again a great goalie.
Yeah, that angle that you're saying, I don't think any of the defenders, the keeper, the camera operator, or the fans in the stadium knew that ball was going to that side of the keeper. Like it just didn't look right. It was just very well done. Very difficult offense to stop there. Even like if what Kerry said is true, there's a bit of a B team out there. So, okay, good stuff on the Current. What else do we have for them? Any final thoughts on a record-breaking season for the Current?
We can. I don't
want you guys to give too much. I know you still got to do a Keeping Current episode, so I don't want you to be regurgitating content from here and there. We gotta fresh stuff on both.
Well, don't worry, we'll have Sperry on to talk for a really long time before we can get a word in edgewise.
I dare you to get Sperry to stop talking.
He's a good guy. He's actually way better at it than I give him credit for, or I tease him about. But still, it's fun to give him crap, isn't it, Kerry?
Love having Sperry on. Deep booming voice, good radio voice. Can talk for a long time, eat up some minutes if you give him the spotlight.
Well, we were actually going to record before this one, but he got called in to do TV. So.
Oh wow! Okay, we got bumped. Huh?
Big time.
Yeah, well, such is life.
That's good to know, though. What local TV is platforming him? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't watch local news. I'm sorry to do that to to anyone listening, but I can't do it. There's something about local news that I hate.
I recognize people from sports that show up to Sporting or the Current and stuff like that, and I know their names, like Matt and Taylor, which is kind of funny. Two Taylors with blonde hair. But anyway, Harold when he was showing up, Alan when he was showing up, stuff like that. But
yeah, we got a lot of good people.
So I know them. I just don't really care what stations they're at because I just talk to them when they're there and don't watch them when they're not.
I think some people, just the way the world has gone, I think people, when they see local news and just the way it looks and the anchors on the screen, and when they start talking about a news story, I think people's eyes just glaze over. And I think that there is a way. People care about news going on in their local municipality. There's a new way we need to present local news, local information to people that are looking for it, that are not watching local news.
Well, if you can find that way, you could probably save an industry and make some money.
Straight up. That's like, I'm coming from the radio industry, and I've heard people suggest that radio is actually in a better place than local TV because no one is watching those channels anymore. And I actually can kind of see that. And yeah, that's actually kind of my dream. What I was just saying right there, that's kind of my dream. That would be my life's work if I could figure out the better way to present local news to the world in 2025.
Well, again, if you can do that, that would be great. I've lived in a lot of different places and I've never really followed local news a lot, except when I was a kid. And you didn't have hardly any choices for news back then, but now you have so many options and so many things that you can listen to, read. Be informed, to be misinformed, to be led, to be misled.
Yeah, there you go. That's the key.
That is crushing your dreams.
Yes, he is.
This is not the format for it, but I think if you could package it in a way where you can get accurate information out that people will not judge it being one or the other, one way or the other, but you can get it in snippets that are informative, but short enough that people will do it. You know what I mean? We'll consume it.
Well, there was at one point that you would remember this potentially at some point in your life when there were broadcast news channels that were not allowed to profit off of it.
Yeah.
Is that Glass-Steagall, or is Glass-Steagall a different one? I think Glass-Steagall was a different one. That was a thing. We changed that rule that all of a sudden news could become entertainment, and that changed everything.
That's one of many things it did, but that's probably not the shades of blue normal content that we were providing. But
yeah, we really got into it there. So the Kansas City Current, they're really good, huh?
They're really good.
There are 4 games left, and they can beat a record with 5 points.
In 4 games. Okay. 2 wins, and they break a record.
And they've already set a record, earliest to ever win the Shield, win the title.
Yes, this one would just be the amount of points.
And
all right.
Beating Orlando's last year.
Yeah, that's funny that this happened 2 years in a row. Orlando was actually on pace to beat that goals conceded record last year, and then they kind of fell apart in the last few games.
It is also very interesting, because the Current have 56 points right now. The Spirit, the next closest, have 40, and after that you have Gotham with 34, Orlando with 32. Just a day ago, Orlando was in 8th place. Now they're in 4th. That's how tight all of that is right now. From 8th to 4th is 3 points.
Yeah, as we're recording, Seattle scored and it bumped them up to 4th place. They're currently in 7th. The goal was corrected and was not counted, so then it went back to 7th place. And North Carolina, who's currently sitting in 8th, went down to, I believe, out of playoffs.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 1 goal jumped them from 7th to 4th?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I refreshed my standings on my computer, and they went from Seattle went up, and I guess now refreshing they'll go down. So.
It's fun to watch it in live time.
It's crazy. I actually try not to watch live standings because it annoys me because they're not done until they're done. But I know some people enjoy them.
No, it should be like that. I've gone through this a lot, especially working for FootMob those years. It has to be that, because I understand it's not done until it's done, but also you would be ignoring things that have been done if you're acting like that result is not there.
But it's not there. That result is not there yet.
But it's
a 1-0 lead.
The result of that goal being scored, or the 2 goals being scored versus the 1 goal being scored, is there. Like those things actually happened, and you would have to be pretending that they hadn't.
I would rather they just be updated after the fact.
Yeah, that's fair. It does make for a fun decision day.
Right, it does, and I completely understand on those days, and I think quite honestly you should have 2 sets of standings. One that's just when the results are the results, and one while it's live. I get that people like that. I'm not trying to be total curmudgeon. I just don't.
I'll tell our friends at FootMob that they should have a little toggle button for that.
Yes. And can you get people at FootMob to add indoor soccer? How about college soccer?
Well, so here, thank you for giving me the platform to say this. So it's not just FootMob that does that. Because that's like the number one tweet that they get and an email that they get is like, hey, add this league. It's all about if the league has that infrastructure set up, and if the league is set up to do that with someone in the stadium doing a thing. So it's not, FootMob does not have a person at every stadium in all of these games. They all use the same scoring system. So when you see a mistake on FootMob, it'll be the same mistake on who scored, very likely. So that kind of thing happens a lot. So it's really just like, if indoor soccer had this capability, I guarantee you FootMob would do it.
Well, let's find out how to make that happen.
That's a good point. We should do that.
That reminded me of another subject, but I just put that in our other bits and ideas towards the end. So it's something about college soccer, but I want to come back to that, not take up the rest of the current segment that really probably have already finished anyway.
That we didn't talk about the current. No, I always like to talk about the ruse. I know you want to talk about the ruse. We'll definitely get to that. So yeah, any final thoughts here on the current, and then we'll move on to other stuff.
Like Kerry said earlier, that it may be good that they gave up this goal so that that kind of pressure is off. It's also maybe good that it was actually pretty much the keeper gave up the goal. It didn't go through the defense. She kind of flubbed a ball that went into her. So I don't want to say it's good that she gave up a goal, but it doesn't make the confidence of Gabrielle Robinson or Ball or Wheeler bad. You know what I mean? It's just that they got the shot in. She could have done better with it, and she would do better with it 96 out of 100 times.
Yeah, it was just like a late reaction.
Yeah.
Almost.
So maybe she's like, what? They can shoot on me? What? I don't know.
Chicago can shoot?
Yeah. They're allowed? That's not who's allowing this happen? I don't know. But she's such a good keeper. She's not going to give up those goals very often. So
all right. We'll be right back. Okay, coming back to Sporting Kansas City a little bit. Or Thad, should we talk about the ruse? I want to hear you talk about the ruse a little bit.
Okay, it's about the ruse, but it's not necessarily about results. Okay. I think both teams lost this weekend. I know the men lost, I think, in Denver. A really tough game there. And I think the women lost here at home. I've been so busy, I was not able to watch live. Just too many things. But one of the things I was thinking about, and I do not fully understand all of the college stuff now because I don't have a kid doing that stuff and I've not done enough figuring everything out. But I know colleges can pay players now, right? So they have the funds, they pay players. Most colleges, football is going to get the majority of the money. Basketball players, the next largest chunk of money. After that, there maybe we want to add a tennis player, whatever, right? That's going to happen.
Well, so now hold on. It's not just the schools that are divvying it up because football is more important. It's if people want to pay a player in that sport, right?
Yeah, but there is funds coming through the schools to do this stuff. There's funds allocated to the athletic departments, and they are going to focus on the sports that they think bring them in the most money. I'm sure that's, again, I fully admit that I do not totally understand the whole picture because I want somebody to fully explain it to me, right? But I do know that athletic departments can pay players to bring them in to play there. And I just was thinking about the ruse being they have a basketball team and they get the majority of the funds. They get the larger chunk of funds from their athletic department, I believe. But I'm just thinking that they're never going to be the best basketball program in the Midwest or, within 50-mile radius of Kansas City, right? They're never going to be the best one. However, being the only Div 1 soccer team in Kansas City and the only Div 1 men's team within a good chunk of radius, what if they focus that money on that? You already have a lot of good players in the region. If they had a first division college, NCAA Division I, high-level soccer college, you could build that into a powerhouse in Kansas City. They're already good teams. They're already like the men have been in the top 25. They're playing some of the top 25. They're already doing pretty well. But what if you focus that money more on them than the basketball program or whatever else they do focus that on? You could build a really good soccer powerhouse.
You could build a soccer powerhouse, but how much money does that make you?
How much money does the basketball team make you?
More
when they're
than
not
the soccer
very good.
Team. I mean, a better basketball team. Every game they make more money on the basketball team than they do on the soccer team. I think it's just what it comes down to. People going to the game, right?
There's not many people going to those Rue basketball games.
No.
It's like a high school gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They at one time the Rue basketball team was really good. Like they were nationally ranked, but that's been like 30 years. I don't know if they've been good in any of the time before or more recently, but I used to hear about them on local news at one point that they were really good. So they had a good program, but I have not heard anything about them. All I've heard is that they're just mediocre. But you're never going to have the best basketball team in the region. You could have the best soccer team in the region.
Yeah. I just don't think it's about having the best team or having the best soccer team. It's just who's gonna make more money. And I don't
No,
know.
I do.
Maybe I am wrong about that, but I would think every season there are some sponsorships somewhere in that arena that the school is selling, and those sponsors are paying more to get in that arena than they are on the soccer field, I would imagine.
Now, I have to admit that, of course, I'm more focused on soccer, so that's
Right.
more of an interest to me. But at the same time, I just would like to see like Kansas City have a consistently top-notch program of something.
Absolutely.
And you could achieve that with soccer. You're never going to have the better basketball team over KU or Big 12 teams or stuff like that are in the region. You could have the better soccer team.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, they do right now, right? Aren't like they're nationally ranked. Like they do have one of the best soccer teams in the region.
They have one of the best, but they could be absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
The only other pro for giving the money to the men's basketball team is that they're playing like Texas and Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. They're playing like
here. Texas didn't come here, did they? Wow, that'd be crazy. I would have gone to see that if
it is to be determined.
Okay, so that's this coming year. Okay.
That's in Texas.
It's a good get for them. Good job, UMKC.
They're also playing Oklahoma in Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in Oklahoma.
Oh man, they got a tough early season schedule. The Roos do, it sounds like.
So they're the patsy that goes in and plays all those other teams.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's the early season schedule for them there for sure.
And hey, they play Oral Roberts in KC.
They can beat Oral Roberts.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty decent shout for them going pretty far in the tournament a few years ago.
Okay, let's get back to soccer a little bit here. That we were talking about LA beating up on Missouri. The third game I believe you were referring to was SKC 2, right?
Yep. Ventura County
lost that game as well.
Yeah, they beat SKC 2-1.
I did not interpret it like that. I interpreted it as St. Louis lost twice to Carson City's team, and we lost only once.
Valid point. But Thad, the one thing I did want to talk about from the SKC2 game was a 14-year-old played.
He did. He made his debut today. Zamir, I got to pull it up so I don't totally screw it up. Zamir Loyo Reinaga.
Nice name. Great name. If you got that right. Just trust
Well, I'm pretty close. I don't know that I'm right, but I'm pretty close, I think. I'll go with Zamir a lot. But yeah, he's 6 foot tall, 170 pounds at 14. And he's a true 20. He's a 2011. So he will not turn 15 until next January. So I mean, he's young.
Yeah. How'd he do?
He came in the 73rd minute and he did pretty well. I mean, you send him in, he's not played with the two team a whole lot. Well, he's never played with the two team before, but he's only had a few practices according to Ike. So like even when they send him in, like he doesn't know their pressure, their how to do the pressure, how to attack that type of stuff. So, Ike just told him go in and do your best, show a lot of energy. But he got some good touches on the ball and made some good passes. It took him a little bit to get really integrated into it, but it didn't take too long. And he was making a lot of good runs. He was doing all the right things. And I was talking to some people that have watched him play, and everybody has really high praise for him. When we've talked before about having somebody to come up in the academy, this is the guy I was always saying, I don't want to put pressure on somebody. This is the guy I was talking about, Zamir.
Okay.
And I still don't want to put pressure on him because he's 14, man. You never know, right? At one point, Sporting had two of the top 10 players in the country at U15, and one of them quit playing a year later, and one of them is still playing but is not really doing anything. I mean, it's Natty Clark. So he was at one time in the top 10 or 15 in the country, and now he's not even starting all the time for SKC2.
Yes, good warning. We learned our lesson in this country with Freddie Adu, and we're not going to do that again.
Oh, somebody will. But I just don't want to put too much pressure on him. But he played with the U18s in the academy, and he's, from what I understand, I was told he really did not look out of place. Like he did well. So yeah, I just wish maybe we'd have seen him a little bit earlier in the season so he could have got a little more time. But I think we'll see him a lot next year, and who knows, maybe he'll get a full contract because that was just an academy contract, so he could play and not lose eligibility.
Well, that's good. Best positivity I've heard all year from SKC too, a guy that we can look forward to in the future.
Becomes the first player born in 2011 to make his pro debut.
Yeah. All right. In the country?
Well, in MLS Next Pro.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't know if one did in one of like the other semi-pro league kind of things.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out 2011 to make everyone feel old.
I know. As soon as I knew that they were gonna like get him in there and stuff, I'm like texting my daughter, 2011 is gonna be playing this weekend, and she's like, "Dad, I'm feeling old." And she's only 21, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to Kansas City, sporting Kansas City a little bit. I know we talked about the CSO situation. Thad thinks not based on things he's heard, just to clear that up, just he believes that maybe someone is coming or maybe they've identified them. But I think a good conversation right now is about Kerry Zavagnin. We have seen several months of Kerry. He does not have the job for next year. The interim is still in front of manager for him. So Thad, what are you thinking with Kerry Zavagnin at the moment?
I know, like I've seen people like, oh yeah, he's terrible, or he's not doing any good, or he's not done enough, or he's not the solution. And I'm like, you can't really tell if he's the solution, quite honestly. I saw somebody who said, he's not the problem, but he's also not the solution. Well, I don't know that he's not the solution because the solution is money, right? It's getting in better players at a lot of different positions. Maybe he does really well with a team that has just slightly better players. I don't know. It's like asking Ike Opara to do really well with the SKC too. Like you don't have the players. You could be the greatest coach in the world. But one thing I do want to like really credit Zavagnin with, and I was kind of talking with some other people about this the other day. This team could have completely fallen apart this year. I mean, yes, they haven't got the results the last, 8 games, 10 games, right? But they also haven't looked like they've completely not trying at any point, right? But not just the players. Like if you look at like we're standing out there the other day, like watching them practice, everybody out there, everybody on that field that was practicing out there, player, coach, staff, all of them are in that moment right now that they're totally uncertain, right? They don't know what's going to happen with the new CSO. New CSO could come in and just clean house and bring in all new staff. But Kerry has been the voice that's been leading that and keeping them focused and keeping them going and keeping them at least mostly in a lot of games. Even this like 4-1 loss, there was still moments where they could have scored a couple of goals, and all it would have taken was a little bit better defensive effort here, and all of a sudden you're talking about a tie game. At least they got shots on goal this game, right? Things like that. But that's where I just want to praise Kerry, is that he's helped keep them together and keep them going forward.
I don't know. I just feel like some people are listening and hearing you say that and think like you were praising Kerry at the same time we were celebrating. Hey, at least we got a couple of shots on goal, right?
True. But I mean, I know you kind of slid away for a second. I'm not saying that he's the answer as a coach, right?
Yeah.
I've seen people like, oh, maybe he's not the problem, but he's not the solution. But again, maybe the solution is just better players.
Yeah.
Spending some money more wisely, and all that stuff. I'm not trying to say he's the best coach. That's not saying that. I think he's a decent coach. With a different team, maybe he does perform a lot better. But he's kept them, and between the players and the staff and all of those people out there, he's at least kept them in the fight for this long, and I think he deserves praise for that, if nothing else.
Kerry, are you keeping Kerry?
I think it's hard, because at one point, if you took out the games that Burmese had started and was still coaching, KZ leads this team like 5th in the standings until like the last 10 games.
Yeah.
And so I think if you would ask me 10 games ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, keep him once we get, better players, a better way of how Sporting KC players react to, having a permanent GM because we don't
Hmm.
know what Burns is doing, or I shouldn't say we don't know what Burns is doing. We don't know if he's going to be back.
Right.
A GM, a CSO, you got to have that foundation. Um, and so I think that he would be fine getting those player or continuing with the players, and also it would be having 17 players potentially gone next season. Not like they're gonna get rid of all of them, but it's still one of the we could, please. It's
Wow,
still
you're
one of
mean.
those from me. It's still a constant in the team of keeping players that are gonna be here for a longer period of time. Hopefully, Dayon, probably John Postcamp, hopefully, Ian James. Is just keeping that constant there. However, with the last few games, like I think yeah, the players are still being like, yeah, we're still looking for playoffs and stuff like that, even though they were barely a point away from being eliminated. Um, I just, I don't know. My idea has changed just within the last few months.
About Kerry specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree. Not that I was ever all the way team Kerry. I I am more than open to the idea of that there is an entire world, an entire planet of other potential coaches out there that could come in with new ideas and come in with something fresh and fun. And yeah, I'm also not entirely against the idea. If someone has the idea that Carrie is still too close to Peter, I I can at least understand. I can sympathize with that thought process. So I don't know if an entire new direction is coming in. Yeah, I didn't necessarily see anything from Carey that it's like, oh, he should have, he was a head coach all along and surprised us all and things like that. I love Carey, happy he was here, happy, thankful for his playing years and time here and all of that. But yeah, I do. I wonder when there's an entire planet full of coaches out there, if there's not some another direction that the team should go in.
Well, and it's also like we talk about US soccer being so incestuous where like, they're bringing in former,
Hmm.
friends of friends and people that grew up in the 90s playing with US soccer and that now they're coaches and stuff like that. It's almost like with US soccer having that and then Sporting KC still kind of towing that line, we started
Hmm.
out the beginning of this year very much on that path.
Right.
Um, there's a point where I just want to be like, cut it all. Nothing should be this way.
Yeah.
And I think that the last potential area is KZ, and I do not know if I love him. He's a great person. His wife was very excited. She found me in the cauldron in the last home game and showed me that she had a Off the Wizards sticker on the back of her phone.
Oh.
Uh, yes, I love her. Miriam
I
is so
still don't have
nice.
a sticker.
Okay, well, I haven't seen you yet, Thad. But so there's that part of me that's just like cut it all off. I don't want anything to be, in this incestuous way for anything soccer related.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
And
with you.
Carrie is that last part that would be keeping it.
So would you get rid of the entire coaching staff?
Our jujitsu kit man and everything.
Roger Espinoza.
Oh,
I like Dufty.
Roger wasn't around the 90s. She was talking about the 90s. Roger's
But
after
it's
that.
but it's the
Roger's the new era.
incestuous relationship to Peter is what
Yeah.
she's just comparing it to the U.S. soccer. But see, again, this is why like when everybody's talking about getting rid of Peter a couple years ago, I was like, if you get rid of him, it's going to be a long, painful process because you're going to have all these ties that you're going to have to unwind and find out if you want to keep them and all this other stuff. I'm not saying that KZ is the best coach or the worst coach because I don't know that he's had a good enough run of the players to know that. And when they really started to drag down over the last 10 games is when Tommy was hurt and Manu was hurt. And that's two of their best four players, if not top three, right? So it's been hard for him to have that situation. That's not his fault in that regard. But I do understand the whole concept of just clean it out and give a whole new fresh start. I do understand that. I don't know if it's all like you said. I think you kind of go back and forth a little bit on it too. Like you don't want to have say goodbye, Kerry, but you also understand that.
Just a note on the incestuous part of that. I don't think that that's necessarily unique to U.S. soccer or MLS or anything like that. I understand that statement, and I do think that's something U.S. soccer should note and maybe be aware of. But I think it's the same in other sports. If you look at the NFL, there's like 100 people on the planet that are NFL coaches, and they're all brother-in-laws, and I swear to God, they're sons and nephews and brother-in-laws. It's an insane thing with NFL coaching, and I think it's way worse than what we've seen in U.S. soccer. But yeah, that is something, and I'm kind of with you on that, Kerry. And how about this? If we get the wooden spoon, then I think I'm just all the way with you. What else are we holding on to at this point? Cut all ties. Let's forget everything that happened last year and the way we started last year, and let's get everybody new in here.
I want to say to Sporting Kansas City, do not hire anyone that has friends, family that lives in New Jersey. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Oh, no. You might be disappointed.
Why?
Bad.
Has been hearing things.
I have heard there was 4 CSO candidates, and
they're all New Jersey.
No,
New Jersey's
definitely not
a big
all.
state. I don't know that we can cut off an entire state.
There's a lot of people though that have that tie though.
Yeah, there is. Okay, I think we have discussed KZ and the CSO and the current state of Sporting Kansas City. Thad, what do you got on your mind?
I just want something better at this point. I just wanted a CSO announcement so that we can get moving forward. I am the most right now I'm disappointed is that it wasn't done already, right? So
we're in a holding pattern right now with both teams or with all teams. Off season and indoor soccer, Sporting are done. Current, we're just waiting for the playoffs, and bit of a lull in U.S. soccer here, at least for a Kansas City fan.
It's a tough time to be a Kansas City soccer fan when the Current won the Shield.
Yeah, it's just so tough. You know, I mean, I don't want to whine, but like you walk into Sporting press conference and you're like, what question can I ask today that's not just what are you going to try to do for the next game? Oh, I know you're still going for the playoffs. Okay, now that you're out of the playoffs, what are you going to do? Well, we're still going to go out there and try to finish the season strong. It's going to be the same answer for everybody, right? I mean, it sucks. But what am I going to do now? And walk in and go, Vlaco, what are you going to do to improve the team? Well, I'm just going to play everybody on the roster, and they're still going to beat everybody. Like, the 5th defender at the outside back is going to play. I mean, Bailey Feist, Reagan Steiglater played, and they still just blanked Chicago with just the one goal that was a flub. So,
the plight of media.
It's I don't want to be whiny, man, but I go to these things and I want to have at least a valid question. Like, what are you going to do to improve? What are you going to do to counter what happened last time? What are you
I don't know how these teams do it that are bad for a decade straight or beyond. Like, what do you the players? What do you guys even talk about?
I think you always have to like try to focus on what they can do different or what they're working on and stuff like that. But it really does get really repetitive after a long season of losses and negativity. And I mean, this whole season around Sporting has been sad, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And just going back to, I'm sure we'll kind of do some kind of recap thing at some point, but going back to the beginning of the year, Aiden Manzano died and covering the Super Bowl. And Aiden was one of the regulars that would be out there and he would cover the Current and stuff like that. Then, the frozen losses to Messi, which was honestly almost high points. And then Peter leaving and then finding out about Gotti Kinda dying, and just has been just all the negativity around there. It's not necessarily a person's fault. It's just
it's gonna get capped off with the spoon, isn't it? But just hearing you lay all of that out there right there, the spoon's coming.
Piss off, Gary.
Carrie's just sitting there smirking like she's been calling it the whole time. Like, yes, tapping her fingers together in excitement. Carrie, you shouldn't be excited about that. But yeah,
No.
I do think the spoon is.
She's this evil, like plotting little supervillain over there.
Yeah.
She's taking over everybody's social media. She's going to cover everything. And I'm just kidding. Carrie is a very wonderful person, and we love having her on the pod. So
no, I was just
don't break character. Don't break character like that, Thad. Just keep giving it to her.
I was thinking about whenever San Jose played here, and someone behind us had a teeny tiny wooden spoon that just said San Diego or San Jose on it.
Oh.
And I was thinking, how can we make that better?
A really big spoon, Carrie, is how we make that better.
I will say that was one of my fears about when I saw the lineup and I thought, oh, the CSO is trying things, wants to see these things. A new CSO coming in really won't care about a wooden spoon, right? We care. We don't want to ever win the wooden spoon. But somebody coming in like that don't have a history with Sporting KC, doesn't have that like, oh, we want to always have that reputation, might not care. So he might be like, oh yeah, start Dayon at center back, right? I mean, what does he care?
Well, now he's got a whole season and he should care because he'd be on the hook for that season. So,
but for the next season, I mean, look how bad they were last year. They won the wooden spoon. He can't be anything but up from that.
There you go. I'm just gonna grab onto that. Can't be anything but up from that. Although it seems like you laid out the dark season that we've had, everything around Sporting Kansas City this year. So, yeah, I'm gonna go for there. Carrie, we talked about how I didn't seem as negative for everything that Thad just laid out. I haven't felt that negative about this.
No,
I am that negative. I'm definitely that negative.
No, Cody, we were talking about this before, and we were like, yes, it's been a bad season. And I think we forgot a lot about how bad it was until Thad just laid it all out.
Yeah, he really did. Really smacked me in the face with that.
But I think that it's just, we knew it was going to be a rebuilding year, in parentheses, because it's been a rebuilding year for the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
And it probably will be next year. But, I mean, I think if we still had Vermes and we were like this, then we'd be much worse.
Yes.
And I think that because of his firing, we understand. Parting ways. And I think because of his parting ways, we're like, oh shit, Sporting KC can do something on their own.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
not
that's
wrong.
no, and I think that's why we don't feel as bad as we have.
There's a new
should.
Mr. Burns is in there. Peter is gone. There's a new hire to be made. There's 17 roster slots for some changeover.
Off to see the Wizards.
Off to see the Wizards came into existence.
Yes, that's all positive.
Look at that. Look at that. Okay, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for listening. And we will talk to you next week. Sporting!
Don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some point of strong and ball gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.